Hello everyone. Happy time zone. Happy time zone, meow, and everybody else. Happy Stitchmas to all who celebrate. I hope you're all having a good evening or late evening. I don't know that anyone who regularly tunes into the stream would be in the daytime here, but hello. Oh, hi, Diaxu Raibo. Hope you're having a great, again, evening, time zone. This is why we say time zone. But hello everyone, welcome. Happy Stitchmas. Rogan's here right at the start. Hello Rogan, happy Stitchmas. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know how audio levels are for people, how captions are looking for people. Oh, I guess it is 3 p.m. in California. Totally forgot about the west coast of America. I was just thinking of like the rest of the world. So yeah, happy afternoon, Diaxu Raibo. Gonna get started on the warm-up pattern project right now. I have an echo going because I have my channel open in another tab. Let me close that. I made a huge tangle with this floss right before the stream started. I was trying to like put it on the needle to get ahead of the game and just could not get it off the bobbin. I like made a tangle on the bobbin. It was a mess, but here we are. Cool, captions and audio are good. Great. Thank you for letting me know, helping me out there. Can sound off in the chat for anyone who wants to with what project you're all working on tonight. If you brought a project to the stream. Hey Rototo, I like their little dinosaur emote. Is it dinosaur? Platypus? What kind of creature is the little yellow emote? I like it a lot. Oh yeah, Diaxu Raibo, that is a great little like vacation kind of task, is to have a bunch of floss to put on bobbins. Maybe not with a drill like we did last week. Just by hand is probably the way to go. And you're finishing off your Christmas gift with extra fabric around the hoop. The extra fabric around the hoop. Oh, thanks for the assist there, Rogan. Cyndaquil. Is that a type of Pokemon? I don't. I'm so out of the loop. It is very cute though. I agree with that. Well, for anyone who is joining for the first time or relative first time, welcome. My name is Jack. This is a little cross-stitching stream, and it's December, therefore I'm claiming that it's Stitchmas. And I've got a little bit of Christmas decoration, both virtually and physically, here in my streaming zone, in my office. Got this little candy cane border. Doesn't totally match, but I thought it was fun. Also have some Christmas emotes. There's at least one like free level emote for followers, and I uploaded some for subscribers today that might still be pending. So maybe at some point during the stream tonight those will get approved, and we'll have some Christmas themed, wintry themed subscriber emotes. Second generation Pokemon starter, Cyndaquil. I like have totally seen that written out, and now I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, that's fun that you can have an emote of your favorite Pokemon. And if anyone wants a Christmassy emote, it should show up for you. It's not quite showing up on my end, but I added one and added a couple of subscriber ones that maybe aren't there yet. Okay, Meow's my love language is making Christmas ornaments out of foam rubber. Okay, what are the like shapes of the ornaments that you're making out of the rubber? Or what's the design of them? But that's very cool to be making some ornaments. Oh, cool, and Meow, you found the emote. It's a little tree. That's a little smiling tree with some sassy legs as trunks. I was just like looking up different free PNGs last minute because I was like, I want to get festive with the emotes like we did for Halloween. Had like little candy and stuff like that. And the pumpkins, which of course are year round. Oh, I should have added a Santa hat to the pumpkins. There we go. That's really my personality, is a pumpkin wearing a Santa hat. That is me. Yeah, well, ooh, I got a little tangle on the back that I didn't notice. See, look at that. When did that happen? We can periodically check throughout the stream tonight to see if the subscriber emotes get approved at some point. So like I said, they're currently pending, but I got some more fun ones in there. Oh boy, this is like a triple decker knot in here. Oh man. I'm not having luck with knots tonight. Let's try to get this one out. Might have to undo a little bit just to give me some more space to work with here. Just even a little hard to see of where it went. Okay, I'm gonna undo a little bit. Ooh, okay, so Meow's ornaments out of foam rubber are a snow person, gingerbread person, Santa, and a penguin. Excellent selection. I could actually share it now. But I gifted one of my gifts that I've been talking about. This didn't even occur to me to like set this up before the stream. So we'll have to do this in a bit after I undo this tangle if I want to show you all. But one of the gifts I've been working on was an ornament that was also a snow person ornament, but it was cross-stitched, not made out of rubber. But I used like plastic canvas, and so it's like a 3D cross-stitch. And it was very fun, and it was my first time, at least since I was a kid, stitching on plastic canvas. And definitely my first time like turning it into a shape. Like as a kid, I think I had some little like kid-friendly kits where you would stitch with like really thick floss or maybe even yarn on... Oh, there we go. I love when you just pull it and the knot comes out. Bam. Okay. But yeah, you would like have like cardboard or plastic, and you would use something like yarn to stitch with. And that was some of the earliest like me learning how to cross stitch back when I was a kid. And I really, really liked it, but I never kept up with it and like advanced to real cross stitching. But enough people in my family did that I always like, I knew about it, I knew what could be done with it. And so for many years, as I was like, I want some kind of thing that I do with my hands, like while I watch TV, and I kept thinking I should pick up cross-stitching. For many, many years I thought that, and then I finally did it a couple years ago, and the rest is history. I got even more into it than I expected to. Oh hey, Rototo, 3 stream streak. How about that? Get badges for everything. I think someone else hit that last stream, and I hadn't really seen that before, but that's fun. Thanks for returning 3 streams in a row. That's so fun to see you. I need to catch your streams again. I have been bad at watching anyone's streams lately. I feel like I've just been so busy. But yeah, I gotta get back on watching some Twitch streams. Although I wonder, like, what the balance of people taking time off and people streaming even more during like the next week is gonna be. I'm taking next week off because I've got time off of my day job and just sort of probably gonna not be on technology too much at all. But yeah, if I do get on, maybe I'll watch some Twitch. But anyway, yeah, just thinking about, I think it's a time when people want to watch a lot of streams, but the people who make the streams might want to rest. I don't know. Oh, Diatsu Raibo, you were clarifying like how to finish all this. Oh, you've got to figure out what to do about the extra fabric hanging off the hoop to finish it for the uh, gift that you're doing. Do you have a strategy yet? We can discuss different strategies if you are looking for one. Ah, Rototo. Well, you're off of like your day job until the end of January, which makes sense for, I believe you are a professor, correct? So that would make sense if you're off till the end of January. And that's great to have that time to try try to be productive. The rest is also good. That's great. I do some things with different universities, and it's like it's always interesting. I don't know, getting their breaks, and it's like, okay, this one activity that I do through the university, I'm just like done with for 2 months now, because they're off for break. Which is nice because even though the rest of my life is going on, it's like, oh, well, I have this little block of time to fill with something else now. Try is always the key word for productivity during vacation, yes. For me, it inevitably means like maybe a little bit at the start when I'm like feeling motivated and still kind of have the momentum from being at work or school, and then I get in a real slump where I do nothing, and then I get kind of like the last minute panic of trying to do stuff again once I'm like, oh no, break is suddenly over. Okay, so deoxyribo, you are looking for, well, you have one option, but what you are doing, just so I make sure I understand, is you stitched on a hoop and you want to gift it in the hoop, but you've got a lot of extra fabric to deal with. If that is correct, the main thing is you just cut the fabric off, but you want to leave like maybe 1.5 inches all the way around it. And then what I usually do, which I bet is probably what you saw on Reddit, is you can use a running stitch through the Aida. That's a kind of stitch you can look it up, and again, maybe it's what you found. I've found a few YouTube videos that show this. So you use a running stitch, and then it enables you to kind of like pull the Aida and cinch it together almost like a drawstring, and then you tie that off very tightly. And then you can use, I usually use felt. I've seen some people use just like scrap fabric, like cotton fabric, but I think felt kind of works better. And before you did what I just told you, you would have taken your project off the hoop, and traced the hoop onto the fabric, like with a washable marker or something, and then cut that out so you'll have a piece of felt that's like the same circle as the hoop, and then you can use a blanket stitch to stitch that felt onto the Aida. Obviously, you would have put the pattern back into the hoop at that point, and then you'll use a blanket stitch to stitch it on. And yeah, if you need to, check out YouTube, because there's a handful of videos that will show you this technique, and they can show you exactly how to like start and finish the thread for the running stitch and the blanket stitch. I don't think I have any examples of finished ones like that right now, but I've done it a handful of times, and in my experience, if you are not used to like hand sewing or maybe embroidery, it might take you a little bit to get used to having like neat blanket stitches, like with even spacing and everything. So just sort of be patient with yourself and know that that might, they might not look as neat as you perhaps would like. Because with cross stitch, you're using grids and, different kinds of fabric with all the structure and stuff, and to always look very neat with your little X's arranged as they are right now as I'm doing it. And then when you're doing stuff more like embroidery or just like hand sewing, you have fewer guides often, and you got to pay a lot more attention to where the stitches are going and keeping them looking neat. And like, especially just comparatively, if you're used to looking at your work and seeing something that looks very meticulously neat. I totally did not do enough of the like top and bottom of the spool on this one. I got distracted with the knots that kept happening. So I gotta go back and add another piece to this, which for the first time ever, I just kept this light brown on. So that has worked in my favor now. That's good. Oh, hello, Tom. Welcome, welcome. I wish you all the luck with your chaos mode of last minute packing for your cross-country journey, which I hope is a painless journey, as painless as cross-country journeys can be. And I don't know if that is a happy journey, because this is the holidays times. I mean, it's not always happy when you're traveling to places, but I hope that you have some fun and joy, and maybe pack some cross-stitching to do on the plane. Yeah, are you going West Coast or East Coast in your travels, Tom? If you want to say. Ugh, I'm having a little trouble with this. Oh, and for anyone who is relatively new to the stream, and you're wondering why what I'm stitching doesn't look like the truck, here's what we're doing. That's apparently not the command. What is my command here? But I can also tell you, before it goes in the chat, we're just working on the follower spool shelf and subscriber shelf. It's my little warm-up pattern. And it represents the change, or the increase, usually, in followers and subscribers in between streams. Oh, I just had Cloudbot off, I think is the reason that didn't work. Let's try this again. Let's see how quickly that activates. Bam! There we go. That's a little explanation on it. Oh, Tom, I am sorry to hear about that. Yeah, cross-stitch to distract yourself. I don't know if you've done that yet on family holidays, but that was kind of a game changer for me. I have like one side of the family that the vibes are just always awkward. Like, it's nothing too actively terrible, but it really helped a lot once I was like, oh, especially when we're just kind of like all sitting around or watching TV or whatever, that I can just like bring out my cross stitching. It sort of just like helps focus my mind, or give me that little bit of a distraction that I could use. And I've heard from other folks too who have more challenging family situations that being able to have knitting or crochet or cross stitching or embroidery or whatever it is, something that you can do where you're like, you're still in the conversation, you're still present with family as you may be, expected to do, but you're also getting to kind of do a little something for yourself and maybe take your mind off it a little even while you're there. I have experienced and heard even more from folks that it can really help. So definitely recommend having the cross stitch to distract yourself, like you said. And that's a recommendation for everyone who's here and maybe seeing family in less than ideal circumstances or relationships. Yeah. It can be a tough time. But I'm glad that we're all here tonight. And on any other nights, I guess, too. But it's nice to be with you all here tonight in the lead up to Christmas, not just Stitchmas. Stitchmas. I don't know if some of you know, but there's another holiday happening this week called Christmas. I know that all the focus really is on Stitchmas. This ancient holiday that everyone around the world celebrates, that I can absolutely describe, because it is a real thing with traditions and explanations. Stitchmas. Oh, we hit on a slow song here. I'm gonna keep the energy up a little bit more. Dollar Tree had their Easter stuff up already. Wow, yeah, who knows what holiday we're on. Deoxyribo, that's fun that you get to watch the whole time, and congratulations on no meetings. I was supposed to have a meeting today, and the person I was having a meeting with never showed up and didn't answer any of my messages. And actually, about 5 minutes after I started streaming, I saw that she messaged me. So I'll check that out later. But I was like, I don't know what happened. But that was a nice surprise. Although now I think I'll have to have a meeting tomorrow. But that's okay. It'll be a fine meeting. I do not think that I have seen Easter stuff in stores yet. I haven't been into a Dollar Tree since like Halloween-ish, when I do think they already had Christmas stuff up. But that's kind of normal to start having Christmas stuff before Halloween. And I will excuse that in like craft kind of stores, like places where they carry supplies for people who are making things for the holidays, because you got to start those so early. But yeah, sometimes seeing the decorations for other holidays so early just gets really silly. Okay, here we go. That is the spool shelf done for today. It was another day of the 817 red color. What is it? Very dark coral red. We got 3 new followers during the stream last week, which was very, very fun. And they were last week's followers: Debusa, Milva, and Ambrosery Geek. So if any of you are here again tonight, thank you for following last week. Thank you for popping into the stream, at least last week, if not today. And yeah, thanks to everyone else for being here too. You're probably all represented in earlier spools, and some of you on the subscriber shelf as well. Oops. And if we get any subscribers tonight, we'll add them to the shelf. We're almost... This shelf, this top shelf, is almost built. It's almost fully supporting the spools. Getting there. But yeah. Alright, let's switch over to the main event of the day. Pull this out. I really need to look up more about the parking method of cross-stitching again, because I've sort of started doing it in an, I'm sure, incorrect way with this warm-up pattern, because I keep just like wanting to leave some of the floss on the fabric, which to my knowledge is part of what the parking method does, is you like leave the floss and you sort of like, you stitch more just like left to right, instead of kind of going like this color for now, and now I'm doing this color, which is what I think a lot of us do. But as you do that, there's like a method of just kind of like leaving the floss and like anchoring it somewhere on your hoop or something. I don't fully understand it, and I feel like every time I've tried to watch a tutorial, it doesn't make sense to me. Or all the tutorials that I found are like 45 minutes long, and it's one of those things where it's like, I think to look it up at a time when I do not have 45 minutes to sit and figure it out. So I keep meaning to do that, and I think it would be, I think some adaptation of it would be helpful for this warm-up cross-stitch. So that is the thing I need to do at some point. But that is that put aside for now. And let's bring back our Christmas tree truck. Hey, and also, look at this needle minder that my friend gave me yesterday as Frog and Toad. It was a wonderful little surprise Christmas gift that I got yesterday. I thought it was an enamel pin at first, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, maybe I'll wear this sometimes. And then she was like, no, it's a needle minder. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so much more excited now because I will use this needle minder every day. And if it were an enamel pin, I wouldn't wear it as much as I would want to. So, as we've discussed many a time, needle minders can be a good way to actually get mileage out of enamel pins you get excited about, but maybe wouldn't actually wear. Or wouldn't actually wear that often. Okay, as we switch to the Christmassy pattern for the day, I'm gonna bring out the Christmas goblet and have a bit of a Christmas beverage here. Anyone else having any Christmassy or wintry treats or beverages tonight? Any good dinners? It looks like we do have an ad starting soon for folks who are not subscribed, so thank you for sitting through the ads and helping support the channel. Now Meow says, only issue with stuff up so early is that it gets taken away earlier and earlier as well. Oh my gosh, that is so true. I have had a handful of times, I think I actually just had to adjust my brain on this, like Michael's, their decorations for Halloween and Christmas will be completely gone before a lot of people even start shopping for those decorations. By a lot of people, I mean me in past years. I'd like show up and everything would be sold out. It'd be so frustrating. So I like learned over the years that I needed to start a lot earlier. But it's also like, it's tough at places like Michael's and other places where you know there's going to be discounts. You have to like really try to balance it of like, okay, it's in the store now, but it's full price. And you're a fool to buy anything full price at Michael's because there's so many coupons and there's so many sales. And with the holiday stuff, you know it's going to get up to 50, 60, 80% off. But once it gets up to there, is a lot of it going to be gone? It's so tough. And yeah, the candy, Meow. I mean, Halloween candy too. Like, if you just want to get any candy, then sure, wait for the day after Halloween and get those good sales. But if there's a specific one you're looking for, then you have to get it so early. Or there's like, well, not the drink I'm having now, because that you can't find anywhere near me anymore. That was a gift. But there was another drink that I got and like a kind of cookie that I really like to get every Christmas season. And in past years, I've like seen them in a store and they're kind of hard to find. So like, if I see them somewhere, it's like, oh wow, I found a store that carries them. And in past years, I'd be like, oh, but it's November. It's like not even Thanksgiving yet. I don't want to buy this. It's gonna go bad by Christmas. And then it's gone and I never see it again. So this year, there's a couple of things that I bought like before Thanksgiving, like cookie things. And I did it because I knew they wouldn't be there anymore later. And then they're kind of stale now. So yeah, that is one of the issues with things getting taken away. Or with things going up earlier and earlier. Meow, that's right. Welcome back from the ads, folks who were there for the ads. Thanks for sitting through the ads and helping support the channel in that way. And we're gonna get started now on this pattern, except I gotta decide. I feel like we did the exciting parts of the pattern. This only occurred to me right before the stream of we've got a tiny bit more of the tree. Because I got too sleepy on the last stream, and even though there really wasn't much left to do, I just got sleepy and didn't finish it. And then there's like, we've got the wheels and the windshield, like little tiny details, and then sort of all of this blue and white snow that the truck is driving on. But like the exciting stuff is done, so I'm trying to decide, do we finish the tree or do we save finishing the tree for later? Maybe we finish the tree, and then we just do the snow. Do a lot of blue snow, because it's a really nice blue. Where'd it go? I say it's a really nice blue, and is it somehow the one piece of floss that didn't make it in here? Oh, it was hiding. It was hiding behind another bobbin. This is the blue for the snow, which maybe isn't showing up amazingly with all the color correction and everything, but It's a very nice blue. But okay, we will finish the tree, and then maybe do the tires, do some snow. Didn't even notice the snow on your tiny phone screen last time. I mean, that's valid. Even when I was like looking at what floss to get before streaming tonight, I had to like really stare at that pattern and look kind of hard at the snow. It is tough to see. And it is one of those times where I have said, I am in camp if you are stitching on white Ada and there is white in the pattern, don't even bother, just don't do the stitches. But I've got this like oatmeal kind of grainy Ada cloth for this pattern, so I will definitely be stitching the snow for the snowflakes and everything. It will look a lot better to do that. But some of the snow is very confetti. Like, all of these little spaces are like little bits of snow. So that'll be, I'll probably just do it in the messy way, where I'll just really skip a lot of stitches on the back. Because I don't really know what I'm doing with this pattern. You know what I should do, though, when I finish it, which will obviously not be tonight, but I should finish it on camera, like with the method I was just talking about with the felt and the blanket stitches and the running stitches. That would be probably a good thing to do, just as can be another little tutorial to show one way to do that. Oh, and I forgot I said that I was going to... Wow, this needle minder is so strong. This is what... I don't think I've ever had a needle minder that was designed to be a needle minder. I've made all of mine, and as some of you who've been here for a while recently know, the ones that I recently made are not strong enough. I need better magnets. But man, when they're made to be needle minders, that was very strong. It was almost hard to like pull apart the two magnets. I guess I need to learn more about magnets and proper needle minder making. Anyways, I stopped in the middle of my thought. I was gonna say that I can do a little show and tell of one of the holiday gifts that I cross-stitched that I'd been teasing for a while on stream. And a 2026 goal is definitely to start a Discord channel so that we can do some stream shares and just sharing in the community. I think when I do that, I'll have two different channels in the Discord, and one will be if you just want to share like with other folks in the community, but you don't want it to be shown publicly on stream, then you still have a place for that. And then we can have a channel that'll be if you're consenting for it to be shared on stream, and we can maybe every stream, maybe like once a month or something, we can do a little like show and tell. I think that'd be fun because it's, you know, a lot of you will often bring projects that you're co-crafting on. And I know for a while some of you were sending me them on Instagram, but I'm really bad at checking Instagram. So yeah, having another place. And a lot of you don't use Instagram, which is a wonderful life decision that I really, really support you in. Oh, yay, the needle and thread emoji. Maybe I should make some needle and thread emotes or something. But I guess we have the emoji. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm glad you think it would be fun, Deoxyribo. I think it would be fun too. I've always been a little resistant to making like more things that I have to facilitate or moderate, you know, like just the admin behind it and the effort that it takes to actually have like a safe and healthy space for people. So I want to keep it like really stripped down and like pretty much just for sharing things on stream. Yeah, I mean, that is one reason it often takes me a long time to do things I say I'm gonna do, because I just want to do them the right way when I do them. I want to give them like the planning and the attention that I think they deserve. But yes, that does mean I end up dragging my feet on lots of things. As one example, I meant to do a 10 years on T video this year while I was 10 years on T. You know, anytime this year would have been great. Didn't have to be the exact anniversary. And I even got to the point of like, okay, in December, I'm gonna do it in December, and then for my own well-being, I just kind of had to give that up. So, you know, maybe in like February, that'll happen. Thank you on the congrats. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I think it's also one of those things where like by the time I got to 9.5 years, I like started saying about 10. So it's one of those things that feels like a long time and also not very long at all. And by the time this video goes out, I'll pretty much be 11 years on T. But 11 doesn't feel that different than 10. I feel like at that point you're just waiting for like 20 years. I think I did the math at one point of I think it will take until I'm 51 for it to have been like more years on T than not. Oh, now that's crooked. Which just seems like such a long time. Sorry, you heard my slurping in the mic a lot there, probably. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, wow. I had it accurate. What a concept. Actually doing something correctly. I'm hoping that this piece of floss is gonna be enough to get to the end of the tree here. I also just realized for the first time that there's some back stitching here. Gotta do some back stitching mostly on the tree. Looks like a little bit of detail on the truck as well. For the non-cross stitchers, back stitching is basically like outlining. It's not always in black. It is often in black, but it's sometimes just in a like accent color to help some of the details of the pattern pop a little bit more, especially because cross stitch is a bunch of X's, kind of looks like a bunch of little squares. And so if you maybe have a design where elements of it should maybe look more curved, it can be really helpful. You can kind of stitch some curves in. Or like I said, it can just help with the details. Like if you look, you might have to like squint or zoom on your screen, but the picture of the pattern in the lower right-hand corner that we're going for is, you know, you can see the details on like each row of branches on the tree. So that's not curved, but it's helping you kind of like distinguish, oh, okay, that looks like branches now. Or the little lines above the hubcaps, or not the hubcaps, just the lines above the wheels of the truck. That's just giving it a little bit more like depth and detail. So that's what backstitching can do. And you might frequently hear people complaining about backstitching, myself being one of them, because it's, I mean, it's in some ways it's easier, but it can be challenging to get like really neat and nice lines and to get them to do what you want them to do. What did I do here? Speaking of what you want to do. Oh, I understand what I did and what I did wrong. So this, I think, is like that. Oh, hello, Door. We're super early. You know, I was kind of early today. I'm scared to say this now. I'm going to have to knock on wood. But I didn't have, like, any tech issues or anything setting up today. And I started with so much ample time to set up for if I had tech issues like I usually do. And I didn't. So then I was just like, what do I do with myself now? And that's when I made the new emotes. And started trying to work on some other channel stuff. So we were not actually early for starting the stream, but you know what? I'm gonna give that to you, Door, because I was running early, kind of most of the day today. Yes, we have a new Christmas tree emote. There should be some other new emotes, but they're not. I think they're not approved yet. We'll check back in at some point during the stream because they are kind of Christmas specific, at least one of them. And so they'll be no good next week. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, the little shelf emote, deoxyribo. I should come up with a better one of that. It's very stupid. I think we were just joking about calling subscribers shelfies at one point. Because if you subscribe, you get a little stitch to build the shelf in the spool shelf. And so then I decided to make an emote that was a shelf for the shelfies. But I didn't find a good one. I should just design one myself that looks a little bit cooler when it's very small, as emotes are in the designs anyways, or on many devices. They look very small. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, we're so close to finishing the tree. I think the floss is gonna hold out. I think it is. I finally decorated my tree Saturday night, I think. But if you will all recall, those of you who were here last week, I only got my tree last Monday. And so that was like close to a week that it sat undecorated because I'd been busy, largely with trying to finish gifts for people. At least in terms of like, you know, free time in the evenings and stuff when I could have been decorating the tree. It was like, actually, it would be a better use of my free time to try to finish these gifts. I guess, and I finished the one that I've been teasing that I'll show you all, but I have not finished any of the others. Or it's really just one big gift with multiple elements that I have not finished, and I will not finish, so I'm going to gift it in progress. But that did then make me think I can maybe work on it on live streams if I wanted to. Because then the person will know what it is after Wednesday? Thursday? What day? Christmas is Thursday, I think. But I also have some other patterns I might work on stream. I've got that one for my jean jacket that I have been really wanting to start. So I think I will do that in some of the 2026 streams. Dor, are you working on anything tonight while you watch the stream? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Meow, that is so funny. Okay, so last week we were talking, I was saying how I went to a Christmas tree farm to get my tree, and that usually I like to go to farms where you can cut down your own tree and they have all these other activities. And Meow was like, we don't have that in Germany. But apparently, the next morning, you saw a sign for exactly that. Yeah, you manifested it. That's so funny. So, I mean, you know, maybe it's a little similar to America, where I think there are probably a lot of Americans who would also be like, that's not a thing. Who does that? But some of us do. Dor, you also saw a place to cut down Christmas trees yesterday? Wow, they're really taking off. They're everywhere. International. Wait, did I? Okay, let's make sure I actually did this correctly. Did we finish the tree? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got the 1 here. I think that's it. It looks wrong. I did something wrong. We're gonna have to redo this, but first I have to figure out what I did wrong. Okay, so we did this row, and then went up to this row, and then this row. Okay. And that should be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ah. Well, that's a mistake from a long time ago. So how do I want to fix that? 1, 2, 3. I might, since I have a little bit of floss, what I might just do is add a row on top to make it look a little bit not as flat and squat. Yeah, I did something wrong. I can kind of see where I went wrong. But because I think the mistake was from a previous piece of floss, I think it's going to be a nightmare to try to, like, undo it all and go back. So we're just going to do a little bit of this. Just going to make the tree even bigger. It'll be a giant Christmas tree. Okay. Does this look good enough? Or should I add, like, a couple more here? Even if it's maybe just 2 stitches up here? Just making it up as we go along. Now it looks like the tree is kind of like swooping up a little bit, but I think I'm gonna go with it. Listen, trees are not perfect shapes, so that's what this tree's gonna look like. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was 7 extra stitches. Therefore, our total. So we are at, on this pattern, I'll just say that, but then 11 plus 19 plus 7 to 37 here. Oh, have a fun holiday, Dor. Thanks for popping in for a little bit, and I hope you enjoy your time with Frames family. Yeah, that's exactly it, Meow. The weight of the tree might be pushing the middle down and the top part up. Or maybe, you know, it's like windy. The wind could be going in some direction. Rogan, it was nice to see you for a little bit. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Everyone's dropping like flies, but that's okay. Gotta spend time with your folks or get all of your holiday stuff done. Whatever it is that you're doing, wish you all well with what you've got going on. I don't think that's gonna be quite secure enough. Let me put the needle back on, secure this a little bit more. I'm very happy to not be traveling at all this year. Did a lot of travel around Thanksgiving, and I am happy to just be home and have a nice, cozy, at-home Christmas time, which is my absolute favorite way to spend Christmas. It's just chill and cozy, doing my own thing. Stitching a bunch of snow. Does anyone else do this where, like, while you're crafting or, I don't know, just, like, doing anything, you just constantly put all your tools down in different places? It would make life easier if I could just commit to, like, where things go. Okay, we're gonna move on to the snow soon, but the blue snow, not all the individual snowflakes. I think that will be a little annoying to do on a stand. And that's a better thing to do when I can just hold the hoop. But I don't want to do that on stream because it might make you all seasick or stitch sick. Stream sick? Stream sick is probably it. If you get motion sick from visual images on a live stream. Stream sick. Okay, also I didn't even really show off, but I've got a holiday sweater on. I'm about to take it off because I'm getting overheated. So I was like, I should show it off a little bit. This is, speaking of 10 years on T, this is a sweater I bought probably around the time that I started T because I was trying to be really hardcore, where even Christmas had to have skulls. And it was just enormous. It was so big on me, and I've almost gotten rid of it so many times because it didn't fit, and then I put it on this year when I was getting rid of a bunch of clothes, and I was like, wait, it like actually fits now. So now I have a cool skeleton holiday sweater, and the back says chilled to the bone. It's hard to, I can't see the camera, so I don't know how much you actually saw that. Okay, but now that I've shown off the sweater, I gotta take it off because it is a thick sweater, and I've been stitching so hard that I'm just breaking a sweat with my stitching now. Gotta take these off. But, yep. Oh no. I can't let my shirt come off on the live stream. That would be a different kind of stream than I'm interested in doing right now. Alright, we'll put this there. I can still get a little bit of action. I've never been a huge like Christmas sweater person, outside of this sweater that I've barely ever worn. I think I had like one other Christmas sweater with dinosaurs on it. It was a very 2012, 2014 era kind of sweater that I did get rid of when I got rid of clothes recently. But yeah, I feel like I need a classic kind of Christmas sweater. Like, I don't know if a Fair Isle knit is the correct terminology, but you know, like one that's not like funny. I like the funny ones too. I would do another funny Christmas sweater at some point, but I also just want like a nice looking Christmas sweater at some point. Thank you all for indulging me with my sweater. And of course I have, you know, more Santa on. I've got some sweater on here. This is Happy Holidays from Santa with arms full of six-packs. That's my kind of Santa. Alright, let's stitch some snow. Or tires. I did say tires. Let's give this truck some tires first. Then we'll get into the snow. Because if you're going to drive through snow, you need tires. I just got new tires, so I can safely drive through the snow. I'm not entirely happy about that, because they cost a lot of money. But at least I'm safe now. Alright, we got this nice dark brown 3371. Gonna use for the tires. What does this look like? About 20 stitches per tire. So we might be able to very cleanly do one strand of floss for each tire. And if that works out, that would be beautiful. I love when I don't have to like start a tiny bit of another strand of floss just for the last bit of a part of a pattern. Tom, you have a Christmas sweater of the Star Wars gang singing carols. Oh, from the Star Wars holiday special. Wow. That is great. I have tried watching the Star Wars holiday special a few times, and it's like I want to appreciate how bad it is, but I just get kind of bored. I've yet to be able to finish it. But Tom, if you are into the Star Wars holiday special or just Star Wars and holidays, I have a recommendation for you. I'm gonna see if it's on Bandcamp. But there's a band called Blue Milk Run, and it is a Star Wars band. And actually, Limical, who is often in the chat, is one of the main people in the band. They usually release a single every year on Star Wars Day. But they also oh, here it is. Okay, they have an amazing holiday medley song that I saw them play live one year. And it goes so hard. I really really love it. So I'm gonna put the link here if I can. Maybe I can't. Okay, let me try on actual Twitch, not just on OBS. We'll see if that works any better. Because I always want to share this with people, but I feel like you have to appreciate it, or at least be like slightly musically familiar with Star Wars and with Christmas, which you would think is most people, but is not everyone. Okay, you should all be able to see that link for any of you who are Star Wars fans and can recognize at least some Christmas music and Star Wars music. And while I'm here, I'm gonna check and see if the subscriber emotes are up yet. It doesn't look like they are. That is so sad. Yep. Still pending. I should have thought to add those a few days ago. Alas. What am I doing? I think that's okay. All right. Oh yeah, Tom, you'll love Blue Milk Run. They have a song that I don't remember if the title is what I'm about to say or just the chorus, but it's called Han Shot First. So yeah, right up your alley. Definitely check them out. And apologies if I am distracting you from your packing now. Now that you're in the chat. All right, time to stitch some tires. Looks like we got another ad coming up in about a minute. So, thank you all for sitting through those of you who are, and thank you to the rest of you for subscribing. Tom's taking a break from packing to work on a cross-stitch gift he randomly decided to do after finishing all the other gifts because he is a masochist, apparently. Yeah, it kind of sounds like it. Although, I think in the way that most of us in the crafting world can identify with and relate to. I think a lot of us also, I am speaking for myself and several people in my life that I've talked to about this recently, just like maybe also don't fully think through the time that it will take. Like, despite doing these hobbies almost every day of our lives, like, still somehow having trouble realizing how long it will take to do a gift. One issue I ran into this year is that I like designed a lot of stuff myself and didn't necessarily like add up all of the stitch counts to be like, oh, that's how much it is? Okay, yeah, that's not getting done in time. Well, yeah, that's exactly it, Tom. Thinking it was smaller than it is and then scrambling. Yeah. I also like, even when I do look at the stitch counts, I think I forget how long it will actually take. I'm like, oh, 3,000, like that's nothing. And I think I need to look back at other patterns that I've done on those occasions and be like, yeah, this one was 3,000 stitches and it took you this long to do it. Maybe also look at your calendar and see how much time you're actually going to have like free time to be stitching between now and when you want to gift this project. Like, I could think through these things better, perhaps. I was talking to a knitter a week or so ago and was like, oh yeah, are you also, just like working on so many gifts and scrambling to finish them? And they were like, no, I don't make gifts. Like, I don't knit gifts for anyone. It's just for me. And I was like, oh, what a concept. I think someone on Game of Wool said that as well. The British knitting and crochet game show hosted by Tom Daly. I want to say there was someone who she was like, I do not knit for my children. I don't make anything for them. This is purely a hobby for me to like unwind and decompress. So I don't make gifts for people. I was like, oh, I mean, that sounds healthy. Couldn't be me, but sounds healthy. Imagine, exactly, Tom. Yeah, Meow also guilty of the I could totally do that in time thought. I mean, it's still all fun, you know. It gets a little stressful and you find a way to make it work, or you just give someone a really late gift. I think every wedding gift I've given that I've cross-stitched has been a few months late. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's one that I did actually take to the wedding. Wow, that was impressive of me. I actually finished that one in time. But I think I worked really, really hard to do that. Deoxyribo saying never, that you've crocheted since you were 11 and never thought to, like, track things. I mean, that also makes sense. If you've been doing it since you were 11, and that therefore presumably before apps and things like that. Like, when I first started cross-stitching, I really liked that it was a purely analog hobby, and then I discovered how valuable, like, tracking apps were. Less for tracking my progress and, like, how long it takes to do things. Those are interesting add-ons and things I have started doing, but more just, like I'm doing on this app right now, of marking off the stitches that I'm doing. That is incredibly helpful. And so that more early on became a part of my crafting process. But if you've been doing it since before that technology was around, it makes sense that it isn't necessarily something you would have picked up. So that kind of makes sense. But I did recently start doing in Notion, just like trying to keep track of, this is the day I started a project, this is the day I ended a project. And I think that will maybe help me as well sort of visualize more of like, okay, a 15,000 stitch project takes me how many months to do? Maybe don't pick a 15,000 stitch project for a little gift for someone. Pull that knot out there. Is it actually late or just really early for next year? I mean, that's real. I've had like one idea. I've like prototype designs of it. I'm probably just giving up on it at this point, but it was like, it was going to be a gift for this occasion, and then I pushed it to this occasion, and then this occasion. It's like, it's never, at this point, it's never going to happen. But that's always an option. You know, maybe it's not a holiday gift, now it's a birthday gift or something like that. Two days, let's try a 17 million stitch project. Yeah, ill-advised, Tom. I would say maybe don't do that. Okay, so this is gonna be like this. Meow and Deoxyribo, how are your projects going? It sounds like you're both doing slightly more complicated things tonight than usual, so I'm curious how you're progressing, if you want to share. Okay, So, turns out the 20 stitches was only a little bit of this piece of floss. So if I wanted to, here, I'll pull it up here so you can see. I have quite a bit of this left. So, do I cut it and finish it off on this wheel? Or do I pull it all the way across and put it into this wheel? I could maybe hide it up behind some of these red stitches. That could help a little bit. But then, like, I can't tell if this is, like, halfway and I'd actually successfully finish the other one, or if I would have to, like, take out just a little piece of brown. I'm gonna give it a minute and see what anyone potentially says in response in the chat. Give me some input. Yeah, Deoxyribo, it is really tricky doing the stitch in the back of the hoop. So, yeah, the tutorials will help a lot. It's also, honestly, just tricky. Something to get used to. It's hard on the first time. Yeah, ordinarily, this is much further away than I would do. I usually, like, if it's more than 4 or 5 stitches away, I wouldn't go this far across the pattern. But I'm just kind of feeling like I might on this one, especially because the bottom red of the truck there is sort of perfectly designed for this. Snipping is the better option, but Tom would 100% take the chaos option of hiding it behind the truck, and probably, oh, that is the way I would run out of thread. This is the one issue with the loop method, is, like, to do the loop method, you take one strand of floss and you fold it in half, but that means that if I cut this off now, it has turned into 2 pieces, which I could use to stitch with 2 strands. But if I were to fold, okay, I could use those 2 to make it 2 strands, but I'd have to do a knot. I couldn't use the loop method. Or if I wanted to use the loop method, I would fold each one in half, but they'd be so small to the point of maybe almost unusable. So it's always a tough call for me. And then okay, so Deoxyribo would not use the loop for the next one. Yeah, that's what I always try to avoid. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I think I am gonna finish it off, because I did realize that, thanks to what Tom said, it probably would not do the whole tire. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna try it. I've changed my mind again. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go a little bit across the back of the truck here. Do a little bit more. YOLO exactly. I'm glad you appreciate the loop method, Deoxyribo. I find it so superior. Usually, there are these times when it doesn't quite work. I've been very tired all day. Is anyone else just, like, feeling like it's the end of the year and you're just ready to be done? Your body's like, rest now, right? It's time to rest? And you're like, no, almost. We gotta get through a little bit more. Yes, happy solstice, happy dark days. Although, the best thing about the solstice to me, I know that we have so many dark days to come, but I do love that once we've hit the solstice, it's like every day after is going to be a little bit longer, and that is helpful for me to think about with the solstice. It's like, okay, we did it. We made it through the shortest days. We have so many short days in our future. But at least they're gonna get a tiny bit longer day by day from here on out. Okay, so this is the last stream of 2026 for me. So I'd love to hear from anyone who wants to share about one thing from this past year that you are proud of yourself for doing. I gotta think of my answer to that. I don't immediately have an answer, but that's my prompt to all of you. What is one thing from this past year, from 2025, that you are proud of yourself for doing? And also, hi, Irish Disney Nerd. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you're having a good night. Is there anything that you're working on this evening? Any craft that you're doing? I love seeing the Christmas tree emote getting some good use tonight. I'll have to bring that one back next Stitchmas, because I like it a lot. I like the one I found last minute there. Deoxyribo is proud of myself for limiting work to reasonable hours, rarely working past 6 p.m. Congratulations, and starting to cross stitch again. I love that. Thank you for shouting out the stream, but I'm really glad that you got back into cross stitch, and more than that, I'm really happy for you to limit your work hours. That is such a healthy thing to do, and I'm glad we're having such a big, like, societal trend towards that lately. Yeah, Irish. I was trying to remember if you are based in Ireland as well. So I was like, you might just be kind of sleepily watching the stream and not actively crafting. So, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, excuse me. Tom is proud of himself for doing a lot for his mental health this year. I'm very glad to hear that you're in a better place than last year. Still work to be done, but going in the right direction. I love to hear that. I love that. I think that is a theme for me too. I was trying to think of, like, what am I proud of myself for? And at the start of the year, I had resolutions that I think I actually did really, like, they're not things that I fully achieved, but they're things that, like, I took a lot of steps towards. And I mostly wanted to, like, get back to making regular income, frankly, because I'd had very disrupted gig life for a few years. And I wanted to, like, focus on my physical health and also just, like, have some semblance of stability in my life again. And, like, of those three things, they are huge works in progress, but, like, I have a steady job again. I have been working out very regularly, but more than that, I started going to, like, a lot of doctors to address different things with my body that I have been meaning to do for, like, over a decade. And so I've been taking a lot of good steps in those directions. And so it's like, yeah, I have similarly so much work left to do. But when I sort of looked back at some of the, like, New Year's resolution things that I wrote last year, I was like, wow, I feel like this is one of the years that I have Like, I really stuck to my goals, and made some very tangible progress on it. So I think I'm proud of myself for that. Deoxyribo has also done more doctor's visits. I hope that they are similarly, like, while perhaps frustrating, you know, it sounds like you can also maybe be proud of yourself for at least going and, like, starting the journey. Irish is, let's see, says, proud of myself for taking some big steps on writing. Yeah, you have a first draft of novel, have an editor, and submitted to competitions. That is awesome. Yeah, you've talked about some of, I think you were writing a story earlier in addition to your novel, if I'm remembering correctly, but that is amazing. Those are huge to finish a first draft of the novel and now have an editor. Very huge. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your nan. Yeah, that makes sense, to lose a lot of memory from that time. I'm very sorry to hear that. And I hope that you've had some good time to honor her this year and maybe think of her a lot at the end of this year. Let's see, Meow has taken more mental health walks, gotten back into photography. Led to some fun moments like different moon phases and seeing a sleeping bumblebee in a flower or bats IRL for the first time up close. Wow, that's cool photography. That's like... That is some very, very cool photography. And Deoxyribo has discovered the subscriber emotes. There we go. Gingerbread Person and Santa are the subscriber level emotes that just got approved apparently, so that's very exciting. Perfectly in celebration for all of our 2025 things that we're proud of ourselves for. We can get some celebratory emotes. Well, I love to hear from other people about what they're proud of themselves for, especially when you're working through harder times or you're sort of digging yourself back out from really hard times. So well done to all of you. Well done to all of us. Yeah. And hopefully we continue in that same direction next year. This coming year, in 2026, is maybe even better with the little foundations that it sounds like a lot of us have kind of given ourselves this year. More creativity, more stability, more boundaries, more proactive self-care. Those all sound like really good things. And of course, I did have to start a new strand of floss for like 5 more stitches. Well done, me. Where did I put my needle? It's in the needle minder. What a concept. Well, continuing in that vein, but going a little bit more lighthearted, as we head into 2026, does anyone have crafting goals or projects that you're thinking you might work on, that you're excited to work on? Different kinds of media that you would like to explore? I think for me, there's the jean jacket project I've talked about. I definitely want to do that. But I think a lot of my crafting might be a little tied up in streaming. I think I have a lot of streaming goals. I think there's a lot of the stuff that I continually talk about wanting to do, like elements to add to the channel and to the streams, and so I think that might be a little bit where my focus is when it comes to cross-stitching. I don't know, maybe I'll come up with some other exciting, like, crafting kind of goals to set for myself. I honestly haven't put a ton of thought into it just yet. I'm really focused on finishing up holiday gifts. Tom, I love that hobby. goal for you is cross-stitch projects that are not GIFs and have no timeline attached to them. That sounds great. Oh, Irish, congrats on submitting to the Penguin competition. Oh my gosh, March is so long to wait to hear back. Oof. That's an agonizing wait time, but congratulations on submitting, because getting a submission done on stuff like that and like writing the story is that's a huge amount of work unto itself. So well done doing that. Oh, thank you for the affirmation there, Meow. Sending everybody lots of strength and kindness for the upcoming new year. I like that. Those are things that we all need a lot of right now. Strength and kindness. Oh, wow. Mini Cthulhu Amigurumi with yarn from New Zealand. Is that like yarn, you know, made from, I don't know, just like very authentic, like New Zealand sheep yarn? I don't even know the correct terminology, but if it's from New Zealand, I feel like that's got to be super legit. Wow, that's so cool. Ooh, Irish Disney Nerd would love to write in Irish a bit more. Learning Irish as a skill swap with your editor. That is really cool. I love skill swaps like that. Irish is a beautiful language. I visited Ireland. I've been there a handful of times, but I went when I was younger in like the early 2000s, and then I went more recently in like 2018, and it was so cool to see the initiatives that have been taken to like keep the Irish language alive, like adding it to all the signage, and being more of a focus in schools. I just love seeing languages kept alive. So that is very cool, and I love to hear that you're wanting to write in Irish more. I went to the college that I went to, I think, was one of the few in America that Irish was an option for a foreign language to learn, which I don't think I realized until after I got there, and I had already taken French for so many years, so that's just what I did. But I had a friend in my department who was taking Irish, and it just always sounded so cool, like hearing them practice and seeing their homework. Wow, the tires look very black on this on the screen. It is a very dark brown, but it looks more brown in real life. But now it is finally time for snow. I keep saying that. Is it? Yes. Okay. We've got an ad coming up in 2.5 minutes. So I will work my way towards starting on the snow. The blue snow. All these little half moons. But I had also said that I was going to share one of the projects I worked on off stream. And I had thought maybe before I start the snow that would be a good time to do it, but since we've got an ad coming soon, I'll wait until after that. Maybe we'll work on this little window. We'll do the window reflection of the truck. And how many stitches is this? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay. Oh, this is a fresh bobbin, I think. I gotta cut it. I haven't used this one yet. I think it might be relatively brand new. It could even be one of the ones that we spooled on stream last week. Just a few weeks ago, it was announced that the first ever Irish dictionary will be published, or has been published, perhaps. Previously, the dictionaries have been done through English. Okay, that is very cool. I like that a lot. one of the classes I took in college while I was studying abroad in the Netherlands was called European Minority Languages, and so we learned a lot about like keeping languages alive, um, that have been on the brink of death, or just that, like, homogenous governments and colonizers have tried to regulate out, and a lot of the initiatives largely coming from like the EU, um, to keep languages alive in more recent years. And not every nation follows all of those guidelines, but it's really cool to like learn more about what some of those initiatives are. Um, and like, yeah, signage and things like dictionaries and how many things are published in them, or sometimes even like, I don't know, I want to say like artist grants, a portion having to go to artists like working in that language, and definitely like language learning programs, like grants for those. It's really cool. I mean, it's cool when governments actually invest in keeping cultures alive. What a concept. So refreshing to hear when it actually happens. Okay, I think I'm just going to use half of this piece for now. I can't say anything more specifically from that class because it was 15 years ago when I took it, so I don't remember. I don't remember too much, but I remember being very fascinated by everything that I learned. All right, truck window reflection. Here we go. Oh, I got ad going. Oh yeah, this one is even a little hard to see on the stream, I think. Not... Am I fully zoomed in, maybe? Let's see. Go... I might adjust the lighting a little. I wonder if even darker would make it. I don't know. This might just be what it is. The newly elected president of Ireland, which is mostly a ceremonial role, wants to make Irish the working language of the presidential house. And that's all we'll say, so we keep some politics out of it. I would say, especially since so many of us in the chat right now might not be up on Irish politics, probably for the best. But I find that very interesting. At the very least, that's all I'll say on that. I find it very interesting. I'm going to look into that more because I'm really interested in that. Welcome back from the ads. Anyone who was waiting for the ads, thank you for sitting through those and supporting the channel. And folks who were here because you're subscribed, thanks for subscribing. All right, so I'm going to do the blue of this window reflection, and then I'll go grab the project I worked on off stream. Hey, Masked Bandit, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. I hope you're having a good evening. Or late night. Or kind of still afternoon, if you're on the West Coast. In addition to folks being all over regularly, I have realized we have a lot of people who have traveled for the holidays and are in different places than they usually are. Which is fun in concept, but not always a fun experience for everyone because families are tough. I'm doing well today, Masked Bandit. I'm a little sleepy. We were talking about end of the year tiredness, when I think your mind kind of knows a break is on the horizon, the end of the year is here. So I'm, even though I've got a lot to finish up for the year, still I'm feeling a little bit sleepy. But I'm happy to be here and happy to be cross-stitching and chatting with everyone. We've been talking a little bit about crafting goals for the new year and things we're proud of ourselves for in the past year. So just having a good, chill, end of year holiday kind of conversation and stream here tonight. Quickly, Tom, congratulations on ordering the Dan and Phil 2026 calendar. I'm very happy for you that it arrived before you headed out of town. I did not order it. I thought about it. I definitely thought about ordering it. And maybe I still will. It's a great calendar. And I haven't really liked any of their others because I'm not a huge animal person, so I've never been tempted to order one of their calendars before. But congratulations, Tom. And going back up to Irish Disney Nerd's question, is stitching white on white difficult? Yes, it sure is. It's been a topic of conversation here a handful of times, because I have the maybe chaotic opinion that if one is stitching on actual white fabric, so this looks white on stream, but it's actually more of an oatmeal, canvasy kind of color. So I will be stitching the white snowflakes and the white snow that you see. And what I'm stitching now isn't even white. It's a very light blue, that in real life looks a lot bluer than it does on camera. But you might be able to tell if I kind of zoom out. I think you can see. So this is more of a true white cloth on top, and you can see how dark the one I'm stitching on actually is comparatively. But if I were doing a design on this white fabric and it called for white floss, usually I just skip that. I just don't stitch any of the white because it's white. Or I do the same thing with black. If I'm stitching on black fabric and there's black stitches, I just don't do them. The only thing is, like, it does look a little bit different. If you're maybe doing a full coverage piece, or someone's going to be looking at it really closely, or you just want to do your due diligence and be meticulous with it all, then you would still do it, because it does look different when something is stitched on versus not, even when it is the same color. But that's what I do. So I would say it is difficult, and therefore I don't do it when I don't have to. Yeah, skip the white pencil color. Oh, Sarah, thank you for dropping in just to say Merry Stitchmas and a Happy New Year. I hope you have a very happy Stitchmas and a wonderful New Year as well, and that visiting family is alright, maybe even good. Oh, Meow, you got them to load. Yay! Yeah, we got little Santa and a little gingerbread person for some subscriber emotes right now. Alright, I'm gonna finish off this floss for the window. We'll move on to snow in a minute, but I might go grab the project I've been talking about, which I've maybe overhyped at this point, but I'm gonna share anyway. Because it's my Twitch channel, I can do what I want. I'm gonna share what I want to share. Alright, let's cut this off. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna put up the BRB screen for just... It occurs to me now, I should have just gone when the ad was playing. Oh well. Okay, I'm gonna put up the BRB screen, which I did not make Christmassy like I did the starting soon screen, but that's okay. So I will be back in just like under a minute. I'm gonna go grab that little project to show you all. Hello. I am back. Alright, so I made a little snowman ornament. Oh, he's turning around. There we go. I'll put him under this camera. You can see maybe a little bit better. So I made him... I'm trying to turn the music down a little bit. This horn is really honking in my ears. So it's made out of plastic canvas, which is... There's a couple of different kinds of that I could talk about in a minute. And it was like a flat square of plastic, and then I turned it around and used some whip stitch here on the back to connect them. I couldn't find my X-Acto knife, so I didn't cut these out super cleanly. And there's some back stitching, like we were talking about. Use back stitching on the face. And we got little thread to hang him from. This is the little snowman I made. And he's got some birds on him. And I think this pattern that I found was also in the world of cross-stitching, which is where the pattern that we're currently working on is also from, so you can see that in the pattern credit on there. I didn't think that I was sharing this ahead of the stream, so I was not prepared to say who the actual designer was of this snowman, but it is from the World of Cross-Stitching magazine. There you go. There's my little snowman. Oops, ornament friend who just picked up my floss with his head. Yay. But this was a great example of one that took a lot longer to do than I thought it would. It seemed like a simple enough, small pattern, and I forgot how many stitches it actually was. I could maybe look in the app in a minute, but it took a lot longer than I thought. But I love how it turned out. It was very fun, and it was my first time, like, yeah, turning plastic into a 3D cross-stitched thing. So there we go. There's the little snowman. And if I'll turn this off for just a second so that I can go look. And in case anyone's curious, because we've been having discussions about how long it takes to do things, I'm going to look up how many stitches that was. Oh, that was only 2,100. It was 2,145. And will it tell me how many hours it took me in Markup RXP? I don't remember if it does. I'm going to go to info. I think it took me 13.5 hours. This is 7 hours in December. Yeah, it took me about 13.5 hours to do 2,100 stitches. So I should remember that. Remember that stat. Okay, let's get back to the truck and the snow. Thank you all for your kind words about my snowman ornament. Yeah, okay. Sorry, getting sleepy and zoning out a little bit, so let's do some snow so I can focus again. But yeah, in terms of stitching on plastic, this is another thing you can look up, and I found a lot of... I've found people saying different things. If you just go to a store like Michael's and look, in the stitching section, they'll have what I think they call plastic canvas, and it's like square. I don't know how well you can tell on here. But it's just like a grid of squares, right? Which would seem to make sense because you look at Ada and it looks like squares. But what some people online say is you should use a version of it where instead of squares, it's circles, and that gets you better coverage. Just like based on, so the holes, instead of being squares, they would be circles, which arguably is kind of what happens on Ada and stuff. Um, so that's a thing to look into if you're curious about stitching on plastic canvas at some point. And there are two different terms. And the one with circular holes might actually be what plastic canvas is. And the one with squares that I used and am calling plastic canvas might be called something else. I can't fully remember in this moment, but there are two versions. One is with squares, one is with circles. A lot of people swear by the circles being better. You can also look up how many strands you should use for how big the plastic canvas is, like if it equates to a 14 count Ada or 10 count. People recommend how many strands to use. And this canvas that I bought at Michael's that is squares is also like not exactly designed to be like Ada. Like it was close to 10 count, but not perfectly. And I just did a little trial and error, and I ended up using. I guess I ended up using 6 strands. I used loop start, so it was like 3 strands folded over, but effectively 6 strands, which is maybe a little bit fuller than other people would like it to look, but I liked the look of that, especially for a snowman. So it's a thing you can just kind of like test out and find how it works for you best if you're interested in doing anything on plastic canvas, because you can construct different things. It's kind of like doing amigurumi for crochet. Is that crochet or knitting? I'm realizing I don't know. It's sometimes fun to do the 3D things. I'm having fun learning more about it and getting more into it. Yeah, it's also fun because like you don't need a hoop. Like a lot of us here talk a lot about frustrations with trying to get fabric to stay taut and just like all kinds of things with hoops and stands and whatnot. And with plastic canvas, it's so rigid, you don't need to use a hoop at all. And so that can be a bit of a relief to just be stitching on the plastic. A little bit easier in that way. But you do go through floss more quickly if you're using a full 6 strands like I was. Oh, Irish Disney Nerd, sounds like you had a very, I was gonna say hectic day, but also just classic, like, week of Christmas Day, trying to go get those final presents and traipsing all around town. Glad you made it home in one piece. It's a very exhausting day. Amigurumi can be either crochet or knitting. Okay. That makes me feel better that I was a little confused on which it was based on that, so thank you, Masked Bandit. Let's get a little bit closer. Oh, going back a little bit to our discussion about stitching white on white or black on black, if you do that, the biggest advice I can give you is just to have good lighting. Use a book light or really good lamp nearby, because it is tough to see, but also just protect your eyesight so you're not constantly squinting at it the whole time that you're stitching. Irish Disney nerd, stick around long enough. Maybe you'll start doing one of those crafts. Yeah, crafting has seemed to be quite contagious, at least based on my experience from doing these Twitch streams. Several people either got back into it or picked up cross-stitch for the first time. And I do agree from, like, at least just when I picked it up for the first time again as an adult and was immediately like, oh, yes, I will be doing a lot of this. Like, there's something about it that just felt so right in my brain right away. I'm patient zero for a lot of you, yeah. Sorry. Where's this hole? There we go. All right. I'm just realizing that the app didn't pick up a lot of the little symbols. I gotta add a bunch. That's here. So many is missing. Should I try doing that? That helps a bit. That's better, but now it's picking up some I don't want it to pick up. Good grief. Have a good dinner in California, Deoxyribo. Kindness and nourishment and rest for all. That is a great wish for us. Thank you for that. I wish the same to you. Have a very happy holidays and a happy new year. Or at least a happy start to a new year. That gingerbread person really makes me smile. Little gingerbread person emote. It's pretty good. I like how that one turned out. Oh, excuse me. I think we probably will wrap up not too long after 8, just based on the number of yawns that are happening from me. Yeah, gingerbread person looks very happy. Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, Irish Disney nerd, what an adventure you had today. Ooh, I hit something. This floss is almost done. Maybe we can get one more stitch after this. Or not. There we go. Glad I didn't do that extra stitch. That was tricky enough on its own. Add that to the pile. Refresh my beverage a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna get a longer strand of floss this time because the last one I had cut in half to do the window of the truck, so that was just the leftover one we started with. for the snow on the ground. Now we can do quite a bit more. Speaking of holiday-tinged adventures, I went to a big holiday show last night. I think it might have just been called a holiday show. It wasn't like a holiday spectacular or anything like that. Although in execution, it was. It was like a variety show out in Providence, Rhode Island. Some of my friends were hosting it, and some other friends were performing in it, and then there were also quite a few people in it that I was unfamiliar with, so that was fun to meet some new people. But the main part of it was the Providence Holiday Sax Choir, which is a bunch of saxophonists, just kind of whoever plays saxophone and hears about it and wants to be involved can join. And it's just a ton of saxophonists with no other instruments or vocals playing a bunch of wintry tunes. And I had seen them once or twice before, like a decade ago. And it's super fun, and one of my friends is the one who like organizes it, and some other friends have been in it off and on over the years, but I haven't been able to go for a really long time, and I was excited, like, now that I live relatively closer to Providence, I was excited to attend, and man, it was great. They did a really, really good version of Carol of the Bells. They had a cool arrangement of Jingle Bells that was really fun. And when I had last seen it, they had maybe like 6 or 7 saxophonists in the choir, and this time they had at least 18. I think they had 20 signed up, and the stage was so full I couldn't even count them all. I counted 18, but I think there were 1 or 2 I couldn't see. So it's very fun. It's just like kind of goofy too, to like just watch so many saxophonists play together with no other instruments. But yeah, it was great. It was very fun. Really got me in the holiday spirit. There were also a couple of drag performances. There was some piano. The whole night ended with karaoke, like holiday karaoke. In some cases, it was very arguable how much on theme it was for the holidays. Some people did some parody stuff, and it also kicked off with trivia, which I won. There's some Christmas trivia that also was one of those where like the guy who wrote the trivia, he was like, it's Christmas movie trivia, and he would start the question with like a statement about a Christmas movie, and then the question would be something so unrelated to the movie. It was more like general trivia or trivia that he didn't expect anyone to get right, which most of us did not for many of the questions. I think I got like 2 questions right, and that was enough to win. But it was very fun. It was a really fun night out, seeing a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time, and feeling those holiday vibes. I think especially since I've been saying I'm having just like a cozy Christmas at home, it was nice to kind of get out and do that. A lot of brass. Yeah, it was a very saxy show, I will say that. Sometime this week, I think I'm gonna go to one of those really epic light displays, like Christmas light displays that you kind of drive through. So got a few other holiday outings. There is also a museum near me that does an annual gingerbread competition, which we just like stumbled on last year, and I can't remember the theme last year. Maybe it was like board games or something. I can't quite remember. It was like a broad theme that people interpreted in a lot of different ways. But this year, the theme is Jurassic Park. I don't know how or why they decided on that, but I gotta go see those gingerbread dinosaurs. I'm really excited. I haven't figured out when I'm going yet, but I'm pretty stoked for that. Tom, is your what in reference to the gingerbread dinosaurs? The Jurassic Park gingerbread competition? Or something else ridiculous that I said? Yeah, okay, cool. I couldn't remember if I had said something else bizarre right before that. Oh, perfect emotes. Meow is my love language. That's a fun dinosaur one. I should make some more gingerbread, maybe. I made gingerbread earlier in the year, like gingerbread cookies that I mostly gifted. I ate a good amount myself, but I mostly gifted them to people. And I love some gingerbread this time of year. Plus, I still have molasses, I think, so I gotta use up my molasses. Although I think I've got a chocolate chip cookie recipe, one of the secret ingredients. Not so secret because I am saying it to you, and also I found it on a blog. But I think one of the secret ingredients is molasses. Ooh, peanut butter cookies to make on Christmas Eve. That sounds tasty. One thing I haven't done well, I have never personally done it, but one thing I haven't eaten on Christmas Eve in a long time is tamales, which is a like Mexican tradition and parts of southern U.S. tradition, or just various cultures to have tamales on Christmas Eve, and I haven't done that in a long time, and that would be tasty. I miss tamales. Oh, I'm also curious, because I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. A friend who she and I have both lived in places where there is a Christmas tradition. I guess it could be considered a winter tradition. I don't think it's necessarily tied to Christmas, but it's something that has occurred in places where she and I have both lived on opposite sides of the U.S. Um, that she at least thought was a lot more common than it is, and and she discovered that so many people do not know about it. So I'm curious, since we've got folks from different parts of both the U.S. and Europe here tonight, if anyone here knows about luminaries, or perhaps you might know them as farolitos. I'm gonna pause for a minute to see if anyone recognizes it just based on the word, and then I will describe what they are, which might jog people's memories. Oh, briefly going back to cookies. Uh, Irish rediscovered the peanut butter cookie recipe they used a lot during lockdown. Well, that'll be fun to make it again for the first time in a while. Okay, and Irish has no idea about luminaries or farolitos. Word does not ring a bell to meow. So they're like paper, not really paper lanterns by the way that people would think of what a paper lantern is. They're more like a brown paper bag. It's actually usually made of wax, a wax paper bag that looks like a brown paper bag about this big with a light inside of it, like a candle or something. And you line pathways with them, like sidewalks and roads. You just like line the edges with the luminaries, and then you stroll around with the hot cocoa and warm beverages, and Maybe there's some kind of like a little bit of like a festival element going on. Maybe some live music happening, and it's just like a really nice little spectacle to walk around and view. My friend who lives out near Boston does it, and then Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I used to live for a little bit, also does it. That's where they call it Fairlitos. That's the, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that's the Spanish for it. And in New Mexico, or in Santa Fe rather, it mostly happens on this one like really curved, windy road where a lot of the art galleries are. So they also do like, it's like an open house night. All of the art galleries are like free for you to walk through and enjoy, and a lot of them are giving out like hot cocoa, usually with chili in it, because it's Santa Fe, or other treats. And there's a lot of musicians just out on the street playing songs, and it's a really fun evening to just like walk around and you look at the luminaries and enjoy each other's festive company. Well, good guess on lanterns, Irish. It was a type of lantern. But yeah, it's really fun. And I don't know how many other places do it. I always assumed that it was more of like a Latin American tradition from like not all of Latin America, but maybe somewhere, just because Santa Fe does it. But then when I found out that like places near Boston do it too, only a couple of places, but I was like, okay, that's a little bit more interesting now. Like, where did this come from? How did it spread in different ways? I'm curious. Yes, fire hazard of luminaries. So that's why, at least my memory of them in Santa Fe is that they're more of a wax paper bag and not a paper bag. So if you are using live candles, they're not really gonna set it on fire. It's like, I don't know, it's treated in some way. Um, or maybe it's like more parchment paper, like something you could put in an oven. And I would imagine that a lot of places don't use real candles anymore. They'll use little like flickering LED tea lights or something like that. It has been like probably over 10 years since I've last seen it in person, so I don't completely remember the mechanics. And we never set them up ourselves. We just enjoyed the ones in the neighborhood. I also always remember being extremely cold when we would go do it, so I might have not been paying super close attention because I couldn't feel my feet or my fingers. Everyone thinks that New Mexico is a really warm place, but a lot of, especially northern New Mexico, is very cold because it's up in the mountains. Santa Fe's at between 5 and 7,000 feet altitude. You get a lot of snow. It's very cold in Santa Fe. Oh no, paper lantern balloons are illegal now because there was a bad incident with them at a zoo a couple years ago. Yeah, the luminaries and Fairlitos don't fly up. Ooh, well, they can. So mostly they're on the ground. But I feel like there's a special thing that I saw a couple of times of like a certain way you can light it where then it kind of flies up. But I do believe that is frowned upon and potentially illegal. So that makes sense. But you did just like jog my memory of like, oh wait, no, I saw that happen a few times. Oh, hey Ari, thanks for popping in and for your kind words about my book. Thank you for that. I'm glad that you liked it. It's always nice to hear that it still holds up these days. But also, hey, just thanks for being here. Thanks for popping in. Also, I'm looking now. A few of you have a 2025 badge. Is that like you unlocked it with your Twitch recap? I'm so behind on Twitch things, but I have a vague memory of seeing that before. I think the first time that I saw the luminaries in Santa Fe was shortly after, or just like around the time that Tangled came out, the Pixar movie, and in that the luminaries do like float up in the air, which looks very cool. But that kind of added to my experience of being like, oh, it's like in the Pixar movie. Okay, confirmed. The 2025 badges are to do with the recap and potentially corresponding to you spending lots of time on Twitch this year. Not a terrible thing to do. Creating things and being in community with folks. Okay. This might be it for our stitching tonight. Just finished up this piece of floss on the bit of blue snow here. Sorry since you just joined, Ari. Maybe you've been here for a little bit. You just joined the chat, but yeah, I think we're gonna wrap things up in just a minute here. But there we got the snow done. Let's change the angle a little so we can see this a little bit better. Oh, always does that. We'll zoom out a little bit. Oh yeah, co-working Twitch will definitely up those hours for you. Wow, sent 35.7 thousand chats on 332 days. That is a lot. But yeah, if it's in co-working places and you're chatting with people, I mean, I think that makes sense. I think I can see how that would happen. Like a lot of my streaming music recaps, well, in past years it was like I hosted trivia, and so I would have just such a warped version of the recap because it would be a lot of maybe some of the same songs over again, or just like things that are like more crowd pleasers compared to what I actually listen to. So it didn't feel very accurate, but I've gotten into a lot more of like listening to instrumental, lo-fi, classical, folk, whatever, just in the background while I work or do whatever, and that makes my streaming time on music just skyrocket because it's like all day every day, or like actual Twitch streaming too, where I'm when I have occasionally played from Tidal instead of from Epidemic Sound, then it's like, hey, your number one artist was Dan and Phil because you streamed him. If you streamed them for 16 hours this month, which was not me listening on my own, that was me playing it during live streams. But yes, Luminaries, Tangled. Ooh, but Irish says there is an actual floating lantern festival in Japan. That does sound a little familiar. Yeah, I want to look into this more. Just based on this conversation with my friend yesterday, where I was like, wait, you do this outside of Boston? And so now I'm very curious about where the tradition originated, and how it spread different places. All right, let's update the stitch counts here. Get a final tally. So on this project, we have done 565 of this pattern. Let's see. Okay, and so I think total on this stream, including the warm-up and some of the extra stitches for the tree that we added to make it look a little less wonky after my mistake, got up to 168 stitched today, which is pretty good. I think we talked a lot earlier for folks who weren't here when we were having that discussion. We talked a lot today about like how long it takes to stitch different things, and specifically in different amounts. I pulled out this holiday gift that I made for someone, and then I looked back at my stats in this Markup RXP app, and this was 2,100 stitches, and it took me 13 and a half hours just to stitch. That doesn't include the assembly of it, actually. And then I was just here for 2 hours and 15 minutes, I wasn't working on this pattern that whole time, but in that time, we stitched 168. So, and that's, I would stitch more if I weren't on stream. And it also changes, like stitching on 14 count Aida. It's a lot easier than stitching on 28 count linen. But yeah, just thinking about how long it takes to do things if you are stitching on a deadline, because maybe you're doing a gift for someone, as a lot of us are frantically trying to finish up gifts for people right now. So that's why we were talking about all those stats and timing and working that out. But I am gonna work towards wrapping things up. I'm gonna look and see if there's anyone I might want to raid potentially here. See who's streaming. My face is so close to my monitor. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Let's go back to Twitch. Let's see who's streaming. Someone's building a book nook. That's kind of interesting. Ooh, look like we got a cross stitcher. I think I've watched this cross stitcher before, maybe. Maybe I haven't, but they might be a fun person to meet. We got someone cross stitching Rollstat, if anyone knows them, and they say that they are an indigenous Cree streamer from Atlantic Canada, lifelong gamer with a love for Zelda, Final Fantasy music, turned cross-stitch creator and giver awayer, queer, non-binary, LGBTQ plus friendly space, language matters, be kind to yourself. I'm into that. I think maybe we'll make a new friend. I'm probably gonna raid and run, but yeah, new friend could be fun. We'll do the official raid in a minute, but just in case anyone wants to see, I'm gonna, just because I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, I'm gonna put their username in the chat here, and also just because the captions are probably not spelling it correctly. So there you go. But I'll do the proper raid button in a minute. But before, I just want to wrap up and say thank you all for joining tonight. Thanks for joining me on my first few months of like real regular streaming. It's been a lot of fun stitching and crafting with all of you and hearing about all of your crafts. And I'm glad we got a chance to talk about some of our crafting goals for 2026. Because I will not stream again until 2026. I updated the Twitch schedule on my profile, but no stream next week. I will be back on I think it's the 5th is the Monday, I believe. Yes, I'll be back on the 5th in the new year, in 2026. And I'm excited, yeah, to see how all of our 2026s go, crafting and otherwise, and really appreciate all of your support, all of your brainstorming, help, and advice as I get used to Twitch. It's always really nice to have nice people have my back and want to show up even when I'm still learning the ropes on everything. So I appreciate you all very much, and I hope you all have very happy New Year's and a good little rest time if you can get it over the next week. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you for being with me tonight, and now bear with me for an extended period of time while I get the raid set up and actually go for it. Oh, and also we should have a raid message. I think maybe should we just do what we did last week of Merry Stitchmas? I feel like I'm still claiming it's Stitchmas, so we're gonna say Merry Stitchmas as our raid message. I'll give a little pause in the lag to make sure everyone gets that. Okay, or I'll just put it in the chat too. Raid message. Oh yeah, and you could add some. I accidentally wrote messy Stitchmas instead. Merry Stitchmas. Yeah, add some little needle and thread emojis. Those are great. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go see. Gonna join another cross stitcher. Who's cross stitching? Ooh, has a very cool flippy stand. I'm excited to see how that works. All right. Well, thank you all again for being with me this year. I'll see you in Rollstad's chat and on stream next year. Happy New Year, everyone. Do the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and raid.